What's up, Novi? Last year, we took a poll on which grading scale students preferred, traditional or the 4.0, and heard some interesting perspectives from a variety of different people, including Director and Curriculum of Assessment Andrew Combe. However, this year, they updated the scale again and then changed some of the ranges. For example, an A- is now from a 3.44 to a 3.67, while an A is from 3.68 to 4. Now, in light of these new changes, we wanted to circle back and again see what the student body prefers, the traditional or the 4.0 scale. So without further ado, let's find out.
Hello, I'm William. I like the 4-point grading scale more because it helps people with lower grades get higher grades.
I like a standard grading scale better. All the teachers do it the same. With the 4-point scale, a lot of teachers do it differently and it's harder to comprehend.
I prefer the 4.0 scale because let's say you bombed a test, you still have a lot of work and room to improve your grade from a B+ to an A, which you can be proud of.
I do not like the 4-point scale. I think I'll use the obvious reason of it is grade inflation. People will come back and say it's not, it's more equitable. But if you look at it, it's really not. If I got a test back and I see that my course grade is a 3.16, what does that mean to me? What do? I convert it to a percentage, and then that makes sense. So why have the 4-point scale at all? Just cut out the middleman.
I think the 4.0 scale is better. If you do worse, it will round up to like a better grade, and then you'll just like do better.
I do prefer the 4-point scale. I prefer the 4-point scale. It has saved me from a C or a D more times than I'd care to admit.
I like the old grading scale more. I think it does help bring the lower end up with the 4.0 scale, but I think overall it brings the higher end down, and I think that's just the main problem with the 4.0 grading scale.
It really wasn't a broken system at all. Traditional scale gives teachers a lot of freedom to, especially in a context like, for example, English. If you write a paper, there's a lot of nuance that goes into grading that paper. You can't always just say 4, 3, 2, or 1 for that paper. If it's not perfect, it shouldn't get a perfect score. But if it's not perfect, it also shouldn't get a 3. I don't see that that's okay, that we're doing that.
I like the 4-point scale. I think it's easier to get like an A. The A scale, if you get a B, it's harder to like get back up to an A.
Personally, I prefer the 100-point grading scale. It's less complicated to understand, in my opinion, than the 4.0. What we've been doing for years. 4.0 does have some benefits, like it makes it easier to get quote-unquote better grades.
Huh? Oh, I like the 4.0 scale better. The range to get a B is so much wider than it used to be.
I choose the 4.0 grading scale because I feel like it's more remembering in my brain.
I like the 4.0 scale because it's easier to get good grades. It's just a lot easier.
It's easier to pass class.
I think it's easier to get like an A.
So I think it's slightly easier.
I think it's easier.
It's easier to get a better grade.
It's easier. It's easier to get like an A.
It's easier.
Way easier.
I like the 4-point scale better because it's just easier.
Yeah.
And so everyone will say, right, like, oh, the 4-point scale, it makes it a lot easier to do well in class, makes it easier to get good grades. Of course, that's exactly what it's designed to do.
I ain't gonna lie to you, you feel me? I used to pass my class, but now until they put that in, you feel me, I'm passing everything, you feel me? So shout out to Big Bro, shout out to Miss Carter and the principal, everybody. They'll be using the chat game.
I kind of like the 4.1 more. You can just do better on it. You can pass more classes, you know. Bye.
I actually liked the ABCD scale better. I feel like it takes away the fun and nature about grades. The grade is just a number now, but when it was a letter, it felt special.
I personally find the 4-point grading scale to be way easier. The regular grading scale, when you get like a B, it looks really bad. When you get a 3.8, it still looks like a 4 and you still looks like you got a good score.
The 100-point scale is more suited to Novi, in my opinion, where we produce such high-profile kids who get just the top grades.
Score!
I kind of like both scales, depending on the class that they're in. For the math classes, I definitely prefer the percent scale, especially for the higher level classes. It's really hard to judge based on skills. In the English classes, and especially in the social studies department, I think it's really helped the way I performed in classes. For that one, the skills-based grading definitely makes more sense.
I prefer the traditional scale. I feel that the new 4-point scale unfairly levels the playing field for everyone.
There's been times where I've wished that, the 4-point grade scale wasn't so rough around the edges. But like, why is an A a 3.68? No, that still does not make sense to me. Why is it so specific?
Those who genuinely work to get the higher grades are being penalized, and those who don't work as hard are getting the same reward.
If you were not going to pass the class, and then the 4-point scale helps you pass the class, is that a good thing? What is that going to do for us when we get to higher education? What is that going to do for us when we get to workforce? I know I sound like an old man right now, but seriously, if you weren't going to pass, you shouldn't pass. It's that simple. That's why we go to school, right?
Now, with those who gave responses plus our classroom polls, we found that it's still roughly a a 50-50 split on which grading scale students prefer. So clearly, Novi students are still relatively divided about this issue. That being said, thanks to everyone who shared their thoughts, and thanks for watching.